Welcome back to the channel. Alex Comstock here with WhitetailDNA. Got me and team member Jeremy Lopez here, and we are going to go over today talking about Hoyt's new flagship bows for 2024. If you haven't noticed, we are going to be working with Hoyt now, full disclosure, but these are, some awesome bows. We were talking about before we started recording today how much you're loving your new RX-8, and we're just going to kind of go over the nitty-gritty specs of these bows, what you can expect from them, and pretty much why we're liking them so much. So why don't we go with, feel free to jump on.
Yeah, so Hoyt has two flagship bows this year, one in an aluminum model and one in a carbon model. The carbon model is the RX-8, which is this one here. And then we also have the Alpha X. Both of these are the smaller version, the 30-inch axle to axle we're gonna be talking about today. There is another offering. They do make bows in that 34-inch axle to axle, the RX-8 Ultra and the Alpha X 34. So let's go over the top and kind of go down. So first off, there's a new cam system this year. It's called the HBX Exact. The reason why it's called the Exact is because Hoyt is making this bow exactly to the user's needs. So it's completely customizable. The draw cycle is awesome. It feels like butter. This year there's one cam and there's 3 different modules. So meaning if you want to change draw length, if you want to change the weight, if you want to change the let off, all that's done in your mod now. And there's 3 different mods, like I said. So this year they made their limbs a lot wider and smaller profile. So what that means is when you come to full draw, it's going to feel more stable. It's going to feel a lot easier to aim that bow. Also, they reconstructed the risers, so they cut out a lot of things. Basically, on last year's VTM model, they took away a lot of aluminum, which meaning they got rid of that noise and vibration feel, which I think is awesome. What I love about this bow the most is now you have 1/4-inch draw length adjustments. So instead of having to take twists in or out of your cables or your string to kind of tune that draw length or adjust to what you think is all right for you, now you can actually just do it on the actual mod and you don't have to use a press to press your cams and make those adjustments on the cable or strings. Awesome feature. Another feature is the different let off. So now instead of only having 80 and 85% let off, you actually have the ability to go down to 75% and have more holding weight, which is an awesome feature if you like a lot of holding weight. You typically see that in more like your target bows. Another feature I think is cool is now they have a rubber stop here on the top cam and on the bottom cam. So what that's going to do, it's going to protect your bow from dirt, dust, debris. If you're shooting out in your yard and you set your bow down like it is here, your string's going to be protected and that cam's going to be protected, which is awesome. But especially for us, like if you're putting your bow down from the stand off your bow rope and that cam hits the bottom, well, now it's protected. Awesome feature there. Some of the older stuff they still have is the integrated rest. So it's integrated into your riser, and then you also have the option for a Picatinny mount. New this year too is the Go Sticks 2.0. They added a bolt here, so now there's no way that this could possibly rock. And the adjustments here, it's just one twist of a knob, you pull it down, and you can kind of put it in any single direction you want. If you want it lined up like that for storage, or maybe you want to put it out in front of your stabilizer like that, you can certainly do so. And they weigh next to nothing, which is awesome.
The Go Sticks has maybe been my favorite part of this. I've never had like a good set of stuff like that before.
Yeah.
Even just shooting in the yard where I don't have a good place to hang it, you just you're shooting, you sit around the lawn and go grab your arrows, and that's been just like a nice, simple but important feature to me. Yeah,
and I haven't seen any adjustment in my tune either. Usually if you add weight to your bow, you might see some variation, but these are so light, I haven't seen anything. And what also is cool is you can run, if you don't want to run the short stabilizer that comes on the bow, you can take your front bar off and actually put it in a quick disconnect just like that, which is awesome. So you don't lose the quick disconnect feature by running the Go Sticks. Another featured item that I really like, I haven't really noticed it per se until I started shooting Hoyts, is a small sidebar bracket. It's called the Hoyt SL sidebar bracket. It's such a small profile. You don't have those big bulky back brackets anymore that sit on the back of your riser. I really like that feature. It's something really simple that I never really thought of, but after running it, I'm a huge fan. So now we can kind of go into each bow, different model, kind of run down the specs. We'll start with the RX-8 here. The RX-8 per spec is 342 feet per second. It's 30 and 9/16 axle to axle, meaning the length of it. It's a 6 1/8 inch brace height. Like I stated before, you do have the option for draw lengths from 25 all the way to 30 on this 30-inch model. You can adjust the weight of your bow, your draw weight, from 40 pounds all the way up to 80 pounds. And this particular model weighs 4 pounds. Another thing I really like about what they did this year is you can actually adjust your draw stop. So they have two different models. They have an H model and an HX. And up here you can see one says H and one says HX. And what you do is you swap them to actually notice that feel. So if you want a harder back wall, you would take the top one. So you'd take it off and put this one up here and take this one and put them down there for either a harder back wall or a softer back wall. And for me personally, I like a harder back wall because it allows me to pull through my shot more, especially if I'm getting nervous. It allows me to really keep a lot of tension, pulling through my shot, focusing on the pull and focusing on my shot process. So I'm a huge fan of that.
Jumping into the Alpha here, the Alpha X, we're pretty similar across the board to the RX-8, but there are a few small differences. You're coming at 344 feet per second, so a couple feet per second quicker. You've got a 30 and 7/8 axle to axle compared to the 30 and 9/16 on the RX-8. You've got 6 and 3/16 for the brace height, and then you're rolling the same thing, 25 to 30 inch for the draw length, which again, what Jeremy already covered, how you can adjust, very micro. You got 40 to 80 pounds draw weight, and then you've got 4.55 pounds, so it's just, about a half pound heavier than the RX-8. So not a huge difference across the board, but obviously the biggest difference being carbon to aluminum.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest decision you have to make if you're looking at both these bows. Honestly, if it were me, I would flip a coin. I mean, I would be happy shooting any one of these bows. The biggest difference is that weight in the carbon bow. You're saving about half a pound. But some people like heavier bows and like running aluminums. Maybe you've shot aluminum your whole life. I mean, that would be a good option, but also a major factor is the price difference too. You have to factor that into your budget. This is going to be a more expensive bow. However, I think they're both shooters and I don't think you can go wrong.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference, like you said, is just if you've never shot Hoyt or if you're just looking at these two new models, it's like you said, do you want to shoot aluminum or do you want to shoot carbon? And those little differences, because the rest is, I think personally, I'm not as much of an archery nerd as Jeremy, but like, coming from just a guy like me, like the rest of the specs are pretty similar. It's hard to tell a difference to your average shooter, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. I've been super impressed. I really like the grip on these bows too. I have tape over mine, but this grip here, it's just a rubber grip. It has a really nice flat surface on back. It's not rounded. Big fan of that. So to wrap this up here, I think my favorite spec, if I had to choose one, would be the ability to mess with your draw length, going down to that 1/4 inch. I think one of the most important things is really dialing in your draw length. Really creates stability when you're aiming. It eliminates that pin float as much as possible. And, being able to actually go down to a 1/4 inch is, I think it's huge. And I don't have to take twists or put in twists into my cables or my strings. I don't have to take this bow out of spec, which that is what Hoyt wanted to do. They didn't want to take the performance away and leave everything as is in spec.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an important one. It might be my favorite, but I'm not going to steal that. My favorite is just going to be the whole entire, from the whole shot, from the draw cycle to just letting that, to hitting your release, and just that whole, the whole shot sequence is just, it's unlike any bow I've shot. I'm shooting the RX-8, and granted, my last bow was maybe 5-6 years old, so I can definitely notice that it's just so nice. And, I'm shooting, it took me, I don't know, I think I got it mainly sighted in 20 minutes, and I was shooting darts at 40. I mean, right off the bat, which was impressive to me.
Right, and when I first got my RX-8, it was set at 80 pounds, and I actually put the last chance archery scale on it, pulled it back, and it was 83 pounds. I couldn't believe it was 83 because how silky it felt pulling back. There was zero back wall dump in it. It felt amazing. So super impressed with Hoyt's bows this year. If you're on the market, I'd highly suggest going to your local archery dealer and shooting both these bows. I think Hoyt did an awesome job this year.
Yeah, we've got the team is shooting a mix and match. We've got some of us shooting the RX-8, some of us shooting the Alpha. We love them all. We're excited to put them to use this year and see what kind of animals we can put down. So We appreciate you watching this video. If you do us a huge favor, hit that like and subscribe below. We've also just recently start a podcast, so the link to that is also in the description. And we'll see you on the next video.